Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. Another week of The Cam Show. I'm your host, Cam Stewart, back in the home studio, the Boston Metro studio, after we took a little trip down memory lane in Waco in the past weekend. Zach Burke is behind the glass. He's keeping us on the air, as he does every weekday as we come to you live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Talking Boston sports. Today, we're talking Charlie McAvoy. Is he overrated by the rest of the league, or is he being slighted by Bruins fans? Which one of those is the correct answer? Plus, we'll talk about the next one in terms of Red Sox prospects. We think about Roman Anthony for the next decade of this Red Sox outfield. You've got to be thinking about this name as well and why that could start sooner rather than later. Plus, everyone you know has talked about Efton Chisholm in the Patriots world, and it gets a little annoying, but this kid's going to make the team and probably going to be a star. We'll tell you why. All that and more coming up on this episode of The Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. We start where we start. We start with the Bruins, baby. That's what we do around here. That's how we make our money. It's how we butter our bread. It's what's on the thumbnail, so it's where we will go to now. Bruins fans are starting to get divided. It's all about this new list. Well, more specifically, it's all about Charlie McAvoy. But before I show it to you, let me ask you this question straight up, Bruins fans. Is Charlie McAvoy a top 10 defenseman in the NHL right now? I'll give you a second. NHL Network does not think he's top 10, no matter what you or I think. Here's their list. Top 20 defensemen in the NHL right now. And there is Charlie McAvoy just outside the top 10 at number 11. A little quick peek at the top 10 if you want to see that. No surprise. Cale Makar, number 1. Quinn Hughes. Zach Werenski, huge jump. A guy I love, but whoa. Number 3 in the NHL. That is a terrific jump. On one great year. Like he should have gotten Hart Trophy votes last year. He should have. So I understand that, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Charlie McAvoy at number 11 is a very interesting one. He's right behind Evan Bouchard. He's ahead of guys you see like Adam Fox, who's been compared to in his career, and Fox has the elusive Norris Trophy that Charlie McAvoy doesn't have, and quite frankly hasn't been close to in the last couple years. Because honestly, my first thought in seeing this list and the whole top 20, my first thought seeing this list was that McAvoy might be getting too much love. I think the gut reactions from this list are what's really dividing Bruins fans. Some are drinking the Kool-Aid and still think he should be in the top 10. But still others that watch this team every night thinking, is he even in the top 20? Should he be closer to 20 than he is to 11? I think it's fair to call the last 2 seasons of Charlie McAvoy disappointing. Not terrible, not catastrophic, not get his ass off my team and fire him into the sun kind of bad, but disappointing. I think that's fair to say about him at this point in his career, a career that still has plenty of life left to it. We'll get to that more later on. I'm not saying this is the end of Charlie McAvoy, but the last 2 seasons, of course, he missed the last 30 games this past year, but the last 2 seasons have not been there, have not been the Charlie McAvoy that we've expected, not the Charlie McAvoy we thought we'd have going into his prime, and certainly not the one that is about to rely on him to be one of the major leaders, if not the major leader on the team. He's not the physical, don't go in the corners with him kind of Tasmanian devil defenseman he once was. And while he's definitely still sound defensively, he absolutely is. He doesn't add much of anything to this team offensively right now. And I think that's where it gets really interesting with this list. And when you look towards his future, multiple shoulder injuries at this point, I don't know if that's going to help him down the line to improve his physicality or his offensive play, which I think those 2 things being improved is what makes Charlie McAvoy a top 10 defenseman in the NHL. But if he doesn't have that, he's not going to get back in there. And that's what worries me. But when you look at this list, and let's look at the top 10 and not have Charlie McAvoy on it. The top 10 guys on this list, like outside of Jacob Slavin, these guys all have tremendous offensive upside, if not a great offensive track record. In the case of Roman Josi, who's coming off a down year, obviously with an injury himself that he played through. Like, these guys are legit elite two-way defensemen outside of Slavin. And even the rest of the 10 through 20, I think there's a lot of that in there as well. You know, when you look at a guy like Adam Fox or Mikhail Sergachev or certainly Lane Hudson down at the bottom there at 19. And who you don't see at number 10 because of the graphics here is Evan Bouchard at number 10. Now, that's where it gets interesting because nobody is going to say that Evan Bouchard's a better defensive player as a defenseman than Charlie McAvoy. But yet he sits here in the top 10 because, I don't know, he's over a point a game in the playoffs. Outside of Makar and Hughes, he might be right there as the next best offensive defenseman in the entire league. But McAvoy doesn't have that anymore. And he was not going to be quite what Evan Bouchard is offensively, but he was a bright young offensive star, and he just really didn't ever get back to that. That's what puts Bouchard ahead of McAvoy. And when you look behind, again, you see the Fox, the Sergachevs, the Sandersons, the Hudsons, guys who, if not, are already really good offensive defensemen, have a ton of potential. But looking through that, Sergachev's coming off a 60-point season. Adam Fox has had 3 70-point seasons. Charlie McAvoy's never had a 60-point season in his career. Even when things were going well, even when he was finishing top 5 in the Norris Trophy voting, his career high in points at 56. That's not going to get you on any top 10 defenseman list, no matter how sound you are on the defensive end. In 2025 in the NHL, you're not going to be in the top 10 or the top 5 if you can't put up 60 points. That's just how it is. You've got to be an incredible shutdown guy like Jacob Slavin is. So offensively, he's not Adam Fox. He's not Lane Hudson, let alone Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes. And defensively, well, he's still really solid. I wouldn't put his shutdown abilities up there with Jacob Slavin, Rasmus Dahlin even. I think after the last 2 seasons, it's a little flattering to Charlie McAvoy to have him just outside the top 10 defensemen in the league, to have him at number 11. Especially if we're looking at it purely off stats, which is kind of what we do. It's how we do things here. Not everybody gets to watch every player every night. Okay? That said, Charlie McAvoy's still in his prime. Okay? And there's a double-edged sword to this. With a major assumption that he is back fully healthy and that these somewhat recurring shoulder injuries don't hinder his offensive play for the rest of his career. Now let me reframe the question. Who would you start your team around if you had to start it around a defenseman? It's not going to be Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes in this argument, because of course those are the guys you would. But if you were to start a team right now in 2025 and you needed a defenseman to start that's outside the top 5, are you picking Charlie McAvoy or are you picking Evan Bouchard? Are you picking Charlie McAvoy or are you picking Devin Taves? Are you picking Charlie McAvoy or are you picking Gustav Forsling? Like, sure, McAvoy's taken a hit offensively. But he also doesn't have the benefit of quarterbacking a power play that has Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on it, the way Evan Bouchard does. He's not playing in a pairing with the best defenseman on the planet Earth, like Devon Taves does. He doesn't play behind the most aggressive forward group in the league, next to an all-star defenseman, and in front of a Hall of Fame goalie, like Gustav Forsling does. Instead, he plays behind a bottom 5 forward group in the NHL. He plays next to an offense-first, defense-optional partner in Mason Lowry. And he plays in front of a prima donna goalie who led the league in goals last year. That's Charlie McAvoy's context. That's what we see out of him. Doesn't have a lot of the benefits that a lot of these other guys have. Charlie McAvoy's just sitting there on a team that was basically bottom 5 in the NHL last year. Context is key for McAvoy, and it's going to continue to be key for McAvoy as the Bruins continue to suck. But this does bring me to my ultimate disappointment with McAvoy and why I think Bruins fans are slightly disappointed. Everyone watched this in February, and McAvoy was a monster at Four Nations. It was brief. It was basically 2 games, okay? But in that brief moment, we saw the old Chuck McAvoy in there. He was throwing that body around with reckless abandon, making a huge physical impact on the game. Just ask Connor McDavid. Bruins fans watched that and they said, where has this been? I know I was saying it after that first Canada game. Where has this been? Lord willing, we'll see it again for Team USA in Milan in February. He needs to be playing alongside someone more sure-handed. He needs to be playing alongside Hampus Lindholm when he's playing for the Bruins. If we can help it, no more Mason Lohrei, no more Nikita Zadorov next to him. Charlie McAvoy can be a top 10 defenseman in this league again. But part of it absolutely has to do with the forward group ahead of him, the partner next to him, and the goaltender behind him. And right now, those things are not good for the Bruins. Based off last year, and again, I predict a bounce back year. I've said it on the show many times, but right now, as it stands, we don't know if he's playing in front of an all-star goalie. Based off last year, he's not. And we don't know who his defense partner is going to be. Hampus Lindholm is the most short-handed, but he's coming off a huge injury as well. And we don't know the strides that Mason Lohrei has made in the summer. We do know he's not going to be playing in front or behind, We do know he's not going to be playing behind a good forward group. It's going to be one of the worst forward groups in the league. It was last year. It is again. And when you look at when Charlie McAvoy had those great seasons in 2020, 21, 21, 22, when he was finishing top 5 in the Norris Trophy voting, top 10, he was playing behind some really good forwards. And I know that shouldn't take much into account when you're talking about a defenseman award, but when we're talking about the way that Charlie McAvoy plays, right now, he needs to be the most responsible one on the team. And for Charlie McAvoy, that means not laying out big hits. That means not being a shot-first defenseman. That's what's keeping him outside the top 10. For years, he had some physical D partners, guys like Zdeno Chara, and he had a forward group that was physical enough to handle their own battles and play good team defense. He doesn't have that anymore. You're hoping that someone else or a couple other guys will take up the kind of mantle of, oh, it needs to be a big hit. It needs to be a fight. You're hoping that's what Nikita Zadorov and Taylor Janot for you so that Charlie McAvoy can be physical without having to worry about fighting or standing up for his teammates at every turn. Let him be him. And he could be a top 10 defenseman in this league again. I really do believe that. But I want to know what you guys believe. Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and we are on the path towards 4,000 subscribers. We are hot on the trail thanks to a lot of Bruins talk. So if you're into the Bruins or things about Boston sports, that's all we do. Every weekday, live at high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the other videos on YouTube talking about the Bruins, the Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. And maybe I'm wrong. And maybe you guys need to get in the comment section and slap me across the face virtually. But I am disappointed in McAvoy. I love Charlie McAvoy. I see him, and I still see a guy that could be a franchise defenseman for a good team. But that's a vision. That's a future. That's if this and this and this go right. And as I just laid out a few minutes ago, it's not all Charlie McAvoy's fault. But I think since Jim Montgomery got in here in the 22-23 season, which obviously paid instant dividends in that first year for the team, but since Jim Montgomery got in here, Charlie McAvoy has not been the same player. If there's anyone who could use Bruce Cassidy, it's McAvoy. But he has not been the same aggressive player at either end of the ice. And I don't know if it just coincides with his age when Jim Montgomery came in and being, 24 or so and just being like, hey, you're the next guy. No more Chara here. No more Krug here or whomever. Like, you're our dude. You're going to be our number one defenseman. Even though we just went out and got Hampus Lindholm. You're going to be our dude. And I don't know if that was just too much pressure for him or he just changed his game too drastically because of that, but we have not seen the same Charlie McAvoy, and it's really too bad because I do think you can win with a core that is headlined, not entirely made up of, but headlined by McAvoy, Pasternak, Swayman. I think you should be able to build a winning team around that. I throw out the term you, not Don Sweeney. I doubt he can build any kind of team unless it's Team Canada. Wow, what a feat that was, by the way. Putting together Team Canada. Just taking the best NHL Canadian players to play for Four Nations. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. I don't think Don Sweeney can do that, but I do think Charlie McAvoy can be a focal point of a good Bruins team going forward. But there are huge questions about the injuries. The guy misses time every year. It happens. But we're now a couple of shoulder injuries in. Not only that, but he's gotten infections before. And anybody knows, you get an infection once, it's much more likely to come back again than it is if you've never gotten an infection. Okay, and that AC joint, that's a big deal. We don't even know if McAvoy's going to be 100% healthy to start the season. But when you're talking about a guy you're looking to be the quarterback of your power play and be a physical presence on the back end, that's not good to have a couple of shoulder injuries before you even really hit your prime. He's 26 right now. It should be the beginning of his prime. He's about to turn 27 this year. Or 28 this year. He's 27 right now. He's in his prime. When you've already got those injuries, man, it's a tough one to shake off. It really is. But again, I want to know what you think about Charlie McAvoy. I think he's become a divisive figure amongst Bruins fans. Not that anybody thinks the dude's horrible or anything, but let me know in the comments. NJ's already letting me know. Thinks it's time to move on. Time to move on. And if that is the case, let me know in the comments and where you would pivot towards, what you would do with Charlie McAvoy, what you'd like to get in return, how you would start over with the decor. Honestly, let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, again, completely free. And it helps me keep my job, and it helps you get a better alternative to the crap that you're hearing on Boston Sports Talk Radio every day. Let's talk some sports, baby. Live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Cam Stewart, your host. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. When we come back, we're going to be talking some Red Sox as well. So if you've missed the Bruin stuff, it's all on the YouTube channel. But let's talk about that next Red Sox prospect. We've been so drunk on Roman Anthony, as we should be, and as I will be. But what if I told you there's another guy who factors into the next 10 years of this Red Sox outfield, and he ain't even on the team yet? We'll tell you who that is coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air as he does 5 days a week. We come off the Pete Souza Show. We go into The Cam Show, talking Boston sports, noon Eastern time, YouTube, live every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Had a nice little reunion in the studio on Friday, but now we're back home, back in the home studio, and we're talking Boston sports as we do every weekday. I want to talk about the Red Sox. There's a lot of problems with this team right now. Again, is it enough to sink the ship? I don't think so. I think this is still a good baseball team. They took 2 out of 3 from a pesky Marlins team over the weekend, but fans are mad because they completely pissed away the third game and pissed away a sweep. And it's some glaring issues with this bullpen, both Saturday and Sunday, and there's still some holes in this lineup. So there's still things to fix. I think they're a playoff team. They should be there. And they've got a massive, massive 4-game set this weekend at the stadium, taking on the Yankees, who they are right now, a game up on, half a game up on with that loss yesterday. It's getting real tight because Toronto keeps winning and the Red Sox and the Yankees are not separating themselves once again. So anyway, big series this weekend. We'll get into that as the week goes on. But I do want to talk about the fact that we're 2 weeks away from the rosters expanding and who we could see from this Worcester team playing for the Red Sox come Labor Day, September 1st, because they need some help a little bit. This Red Sox team needs a boost. They're good. They'll probably make the playoffs, but I think they need to inject some more life in this team, not just on the pitching staff, obviously, but in this lineup. The offensive deficiencies of Masataka Yoshida, Abraham Toro, Romy Gonzalez, and Carlos Narvaez are not going to magically disappear by acquiring Nate Lowe. To unlock this offense, you need the password. That's how you're going to unleash this thing, baby. Yostinson Garcia. The guy's name is spelled like George Drones trying to do his sobriety test when they pulled him off the tractor. But the guy is red hot in Worcester. 64 games for the Woo Sox this year. Garcia is knocking the cover off the ball. He's slashing .309, .372, .578 slugging for a .950 OPS. Factor in 17 homers, 12 doubles, and 55 RBI in those 64 games, plus the fact that he was named to the all-minor league first team alongside Christian Campbell and Roman Anthony after last season, and you got yourselves a prospect. Nay, you've got yourselves a player in Yostinson Garcia. Because here we are, basking in the glow of the Roman Anthony extension and looking at him as the future of the Red Sox outfield, as we should. But little did we know, we've got another piece of the next decade of the Red Sox outfield coming in right behind him. Garcia is legit, man. Not just a fun nickname, not just the long hair. This dude is crushing it. He is looking like Vlad Guerrero Jr. in AAA. And by the way, started the 24 season in single A. And I legitimately think he's a week and a half away at most from being a Major League Baseball player for a team that's going to make the playoffs. Now, the key player in the password's rise with the Red Sox is and will be Wilyer Abreu. You see this picture. He's coming up lame after scoring on a sacrifice fly in the game on Sunday. As of right now, he is going to continue playing. He says he's going to be back for the Yankees series, so going to miss the next 2 against the Orioles, and allegedly is not going to go on the IL. So, allegedly. If that did get worse, and they do put him on the shelf, the most reasonable call will be to bring up the password. Certainly there will be some thoughts on Christian Campbell. And I've said on this show before, I think Christian Campbell has a role to play for the rest of this season for the Red Sox. But I don't know if you could just bring him up and put him at second base again and put Cedon in the outfield, have Anthony, Cedon, and Duran in the outfield. I don't think it's as quick a fix as that. I don't think Christian Campbell could play second base in major games going down the stretch in an MLB season right now. I don't think you can. But you can bring up the password, like for like. Yoshida can't play the outfield. I don't want him playing at all. Yostinson Garcia can come up and play Wilyer Abreu's position in right field. Like for like switch. He can go in and play tomorrow. And for the long term, Wilyer Abreu factors in once again. Because for the long term, have any of you wondered why Abreu isn't locked down like a lot of the other young guys? How come Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, Brian Bayo, Cedon Rafaela are all locked down long term, but the young Gold Glove outfielder who also leads the team in home runs this year and is also cost controlled is not locked down? Is that not fishy to anybody else? The answer, my friends, might also have to do with Yostinson Garcia. The guy who just can't stop hitting. He played across 3 leagues last year in the minors and still came away with an .892 OPS with 23 homers, 24 doubles, and a .356 on-base percentage. 3 different leagues, increasingly higher by the year. He kept moving up and he kept adjusting. He was thriving in the things that take hitters forever to figure out when they move up in competition. Keeping a good eye at the plate, a .356 on-base percentage through 3 leagues last year. The pitching got better. He got more selective. I think there are still some questions about Wilyer Abreu for the long term for the Red Sox. And this is going to sound weird, but those questions being around Wilyer Abreu for the Red Sox is a good thing for the team and for the fans. Because most teams would take Wilyer Abreu in a heartbeat. And I like the player. He's got a big, long swing, right? He's not going to shorten that thing up. He's not going to be Roman Anthony in that department. He's not going to have the eye of Roman Anthony in that department. He's still going to be a 250, 260 hitter, and you hope at some point he's 25 plus every single year, which he's going to get to this year. But he gets nagging injuries, and you've got maybe a more professional hitter than what you project long-term for Yostinson Garcia. So what I'm saying is the questions around Wilyer Abreu are pretty small. There's, this is not a bad baseball player, and it's definitely a guy that most teams, including Red Sox fans, would like to have locked down long-term. The reason why he's not locked down yet is because of guys like Roman Anthony and Yostinson Garcia. So I can absolutely see a world, and I'm going to talk about more of this later on this week as it pertains to a different outfielder. But I can definitely see a world where Wilyer Abreu or Jarren Duran gets thrown in a big-time trade this offseason Because for the first time in a while, you have some flexibility there. Don't trade him for nothing like you did with Rafael Devers. Like, that's not the kind of flexibility we want here. But you could trade him in a big package because you have Yostinson Garcia behind him. Because you have Cedar Rafaela locked down. Because you have Roman Anthony locked down. There's a lot of different ways that you can go with this. But also, looking past the outfield, I think the most glaring sign of the Red Sox optimism with Garcia is the fact they just started sticking him at first base over the weekend. Now, obviously, they just signed Nate Lowe. That was late Sunday night. But clearly, they want Garcia to be ready to come up at their positions of need, be it the outfield, his normal territory where he's used to playing, or at first base, where he might have to fill in at the end of this regular season in the major leagues, or where he could be playing for the Red Sox for years to come. Let's not forget Tristan Casas doesn't look like the guy you're going to be relying on for the next decade. Like Nate Lowe is a stopgap. Okay, he's a vet with negative WAR this year and a sub 700 OPS for the first time in his career. And he was just released by one of the worst teams in all of baseball. He's a warm body that is a slightly better option than honest Abe Toro at first base. You got what you could out of Toro and probably Romy Gonzalez as well. You're hoping that you haven't gotten that yet this season from Nate Lowe, and he can give you some of that for a couple of weeks. The way you got Casey Kochman that one year, or James Loney thrown in the Beckett and Carl Crawford trade. Adrian Gonzalez trade. Like, that's what you're hoping you can get from Nate Lowe. A couple of weeks, a serviceable guy in the lineup, but he really hasn't been that this year. What you're grooming is Yostinson Garcia and Christian Campbell to play first base. One of them is going to be a major factor at the first base position for the Red Sox in September and, dare I say, in October. But Yostinson Garcia is a major part of this team for the next decade. Not just a cute nickname, not just going to sell some shirts. This guy is mashing. Not unlike what we saw from Roman Anthony in his time in Worcester. In fact, the numbers are pretty similar if we're being honest. The power's there, the on base is there, and obviously we're seeing Roman Anthony do that at the major league level as well. But these two guys, in terms of prospects, pretty similar to what we saw in their time in Worcester. I'm going to be there on Sunday. Yostinson Garcia, I will be personally scouting. But you look at this so far, and you could see why Red Sox fans are salivating over their next big prospect. This is a great time to be a Red Sox fan as we look towards the future. And again, you look at those power numbers for the password, it ain't bad. It ain't bad for a guy they signed basically so that they could coax his younger brother to come and sign. And we'll see him when he's back from that ACL injury. But let me know what you think about the password. Are we going to see him sooner rather than later? And what does he mean for the next 10 years of Red Sox baseball? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And let me know what Red Sox prospect you're most excited about. But mostly like and subscribe. It's free. It helps me keep my job, and it helps us on the path towards 4,000 subscribers. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. Check out the other videos on the channel, talking Red Sox, talking a lot of Bruins, and everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. We are here, so you don't have to listen to EEI or 98.5. Just remember that. Coming up next, let's talk Patriots. Speaking of prospects, a guy who is going to make this team, man. A guy who's going to make this team for the Patriots. And it's right up the alley of Josh McDaniels and Patriots fans. We'll tell you why this undrafted free agent is the future of this franchise, kinda. Coming up next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
BizChair.com. your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
And now, back to our show.
Back to our show, The Cam Show. Rogue Media Sports Network. Cam Stewart here. Zach Burke behind the glass, keeping us on the air, talking Boston sports as we do every weekday. Live at high noon Eastern time on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So you don't have to listen to your radio. That's kind of what I'm here for. We're gonna do a little holy trinity here. We've already talked about the Bruins. We've talked about the Red Sox. So that only leaves the Patriots here for the final segment. And look, 2-0 in the preseason. Catch the fever. They might never lose again. There's all kinds of hype coming out of this camp and really specifically around certain players. But there's one that I wasn't going to buy into that I have fully bought into at this point. I think it's safe to say. I don't regret saying it, but I think I'm bought in at this point. The Patriots have their franchise quarterback in Drake May. They have their explosive running back of the future in Travion Henderson. But what if the breakout player of the preseason is an undrafted free agent that you've never heard of? Congratulations, Efton Chisholm. You are a New England Patriot. I got to admit, guys, at first, I just wasn't in. As soon as he got signed, undrafted free agent, Eastern Washington, little buff white guy in the slot. Everybody said it, the lowest hanging fruit. Oh, of course, this is exactly what the Patriots want. Bill Belichick's getting a boner somewhere. You know, everyone with the gif of like Bill Belichick when he sees the long snapper from Navy and he's just doing the binoculars and eating the popcorn. Like, I'm sick of all that. First off, Bill Belichick isn't running this team anymore. And like, I get it. They've done well with white slot receivers. I get it. And I'm not ready to say in May that Efton Chisholm's going to make the team because he's a white slot receiver that they signed as an undrafted free agent. But after 2 preseason games, I'm all in on this kid. I think he's going to be a star on this team. He has made the team. Even though he got a little knocked up. That's not the word. Got a little knock. Got a little banged up. I don't think he's knocked up, but who knows? Got a little banged up. He's not going to be in practice on Monday. But Efton Chisholm is a part of this Patriots team. And at times, in that game Saturday against the Vikings, you could say he was the best player on the field. He's the best player for the Patriots. I'll say that much. He scored another touchdown. He's got 2 in 2 games. A touchdown that looked like Deion Lewis's from 2015 against the Cowboys. I mean, the dude is stiff-arming. He's leaping over people. He's bouncing off of tackles to get in the end zone. He's a freak athlete, and he fits this Josh McDaniels offense to a T. right down to the very letter. I talked about Travion Henderson a week ago. If you haven't seen that, check out the segment on YouTube. We talk all about Travion Henderson and why he's going to be a great fit for this Patriots offense. I talked about how every great Josh McDaniels offense has someone like Travion Henderson. I think it goes without saying that every great Josh McDaniels offense has had someone like Efton Chisholm. It's had Wes Welker. It's had Julian Edelman. It's had Danny Amendola. And this year it'll have Pop Douglas and Efton Chisholm. They don't all have to be white to be some good slot receivers in a Josh McDaniels offense. But Chisholm has every bit of that aesthetic, that style, that production preseason that we saw out of guys like Julian Edelman. They're not the fastest, but they're quick. They're not the biggest, but they're always open. And they're not deep ball threats, but they got a nose for the end zone. And they don't know when they're dead. Efton Chisholm has all of those things, and the reviews are glowing. Taylor Kyles, covers for CLNS, said best player on the field. And certainly from watching the game on Saturday, that's what I thought. He was the best player on the field. I'm a meathead. I only know, I couldn't tell you which guard was the best player on the field. But he had 6 targets and 6 catches. And he's got 121 receiving yards through 2 preseason games, 12 catches, and a couple of touchdowns. That's a player right there, man. It's a player to me. Phil Perry, who I really respect covering this team, already has Chisholm on the roster. He's going to be there. There's questions about Javon Baker. There's questions about Jalen Polk. There's really no questions about Efton Chisholm in terms of what he can do. This injury, we'll see. Maybe he starts the season on IR so they can keep a roster spot and try to have someone else prove themselves. But Efton Chisholm, if he had to clear waivers, he ain't going to clear it, man. He's got to be a player on your team. And the jerseys will start rolling in. There was already somebody at the game on Saturday in an Efton Chisholm jersey. It's a nice, one of the nice red Patriots throwback ones, too. I don't know how that person was so ahead of the curve. Maybe they're just related to our pal Efton. But this kid's a player. And it's weird how I think about this Patriots offense because obviously there's more concern that Stephon Diggs is not going to be ready for week 1. And yet I look at it, if Efton Chisholm is ready, and Pop Douglas is ready, and Travion Henderson is ready, and Hunter Henry is ready, and Drake May plays like he has in practices, rather than how he's played in the preseason games, which most coaches will tell you they'll take the practice player over the preseason game player. If Drake May is more like the practice guy, then this offense might hit the ground running. 30 points a game? Probably not. But 21 points a game versus what they had last year, it's going to win you a lot more football games. And this defense looks pretty physical for one that's only in preseason game number 2. There's a lot to like about this team, and Efton Chisholm is a symbol of that. There's still a lot of questions around that offensive line. It's still not one of the top receiving groups in the league. But if you were able to get a guy like Efton Chisholm as an undrafted free agent, and he can be a safety blanket for Drake May, and he can be a legit slot star in this league, which is a big jump, I know, then you're all of a sudden feeling really good about this Patriots offense in the short term and the long-term future of it. He's going to be a big part of this team. And as I've said time and time again, no great Josh McDaniels offense has not had a guy like Efton Chisholm. Not one. They haven't not had a guy like Pop Douglas. They haven't not had a guy like Travion Henderson. The pieces are there for a great Josh McDaniels offense. And with a Mike Vrabel defense that he's been cooking up, this could be a winning team in 2025. Plenty of questions, sure, especially on that offensive line, I know. But Efton Chisholm, this guy, is going to be a big part of the Patriots' future. So remember the name. Get the jersey. Get the photos for your room. Efton Chisholm's going to be a big part of this thing. But I do want to know what you guys think. Is Efton Chisholm the next one in the great Patriots line of slot receivers? Would that mean that Drake May is becoming Tom Brady? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and it helps me keep my job. And we're on the path towards 4,000 subscribers. So if you're looking for an alternative for Boston Sports Talk Radio that isn't the crap you're actually hearing on your frequencies, we're the spot for you. Live, noon Eastern time every weekday, and then wherever you get your podcast as well. So check out the other videos on the channel, talking Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, everything going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We will see you on the next edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Sains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit twosains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.